What's up, bro?
Yo, how's it going, man?
Nice camera.
Dude, nice camera. To you. That's crazy. FX3 all day, man.
So today we're gonna be checking out the new update, or talking about the new update. He has the Sony FX3, I have the Sony FX3, and we've been playing around with it, and we have some thoughts that we want to share with you guys. Let's jump in here and look at the features that actually came with the update. So if we're looking in this new menu setting, you can see that like right under the custom menu setting, you now get two main menus. So the first one is where you can basically change everything, which is trying to replicate the FX6 menu system. This is so much better because before I actually had to put in all of these settings into my custom menu. Like it just makes sense that you would have it here laid out like this beautifully. I even like that they went even as specific as they did to put proxy recording. It's definitely more simple. And then even over here, you have this new menu setting. And honestly, I didn't even find myself custom naming my clips before, but now just because it's right here, I now custom name my clips because I mean, it literally just takes a few minutes. This right here has probably been my favorite new addition to the menu setting because sometimes whenever I'm shooting, I'm not shooting at face. So there's no reason for face auto tracking to be on. So now I can turn it off and easily decide where I want my focus to be without it thinking something's an eye for some reason and trying to focus on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So like the new system literally replaced my custom buttons section. Like literally every single thing they have on these new menus is exactly what I had verbatim on my custom menu, and this is such a better layout. So that custom system is kind of irrelevant now, which is a good thing. Like now, I like, cause like this looks way better. So I really like it. I feel like because of the new update,
yeah,
it feels like we got a brand new camera. I've actually been playing with this thing a lot more. I've been picking it up, just trying things out, trying out different settings, trying to see, that feeling you get when you first get that new gear and you just like, you're messing with it for hours upon hours. Like it's definitely brought that, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You have like a cinema menu setup. Did they actually do it on the Sony A7S III too?
They marketed this as a cinema camera. It's the FX line, but everybody knew like this was basically just a A7S III in the cinema form. And that wasn't, that was like kind of a letdown. But now this actually feels like it's cinema class, and it actually differentiated from the A7S III, which I think is a really good thing.
I know I'm probably stealing from your ideas that you said off camera, but the fact that you can do LUTs in here, even though I'm not doing LUTs in my camera yet, I think it's huge because I do all types of shoots, one of them being real estate. And it's just really nice to be able to bake the LUT into your footage that you're gonna be using for a certain client, and just basically have all your client LUTs in there. Cause I do a lot of client shoots, so being able to bake it right in is like so helpful.
Yeah, dude, and I gotta say, like the reason why I like it a lot is cause like, I don't know, I suck at color grading. Like I've tried, like it looks mushy when I color grade. So I'm super excited because now I can take a LUT, so he's gonna create a LUT for me, and I was gonna slap it on there, and I'm gonna look as good as his stuff be looking, so.
I appreciate it. All right, so let's start talking about some of the negative stuff. I'm gonna start this one off because I was really upset about the fact that you don't get the 180-degree shutter in this camera, so I don't have to worry about doubling my shutter speed every time I change my frame rate. So that's something that didn't come in this cinema update, which I feel is super easy to put in here. They just didn't do it.
So yeah, that's a good one, and that's something like I wasn't even aware was a thing. I've been seeing a lot of people comments about it, but then when you mentioned it to me and you explained to me how it works, I was like, oh, that's a no-brainer. Like they definitely should have done that. This may or may not be a negative for some people. So they have the new like Cine EI mode, which is pretty confusing. Like if you don't understand like the whole cinema line and how that stuff works. Yeah. But like they have the Cine EI Quick, and then they have just the Cine EI. So like the Cine EI Quick, like I feel like it, to me, I don't like it because like as you're flipping through your ISO, you can actually flip the base ISO without realizing it, So like if you have it on Cine EI Quick, you can start off on 800, maybe it's like daylight and you're like, okay, I'm at 800. But then as you start like moving that ISO up, at some point it's gonna switch to 12,800, which is that low light, and maybe you didn't mean to do that. And so you could kind of mess up your image without realizing it. Yeah. So I don't like that about the Cine EI. So for me, I'm shooting in just Cine, and then I just have my ISO button set where I can flip it on and off.
So what he's saying is he's programmed it on his camera to be...
So it's the it's button number 3, custom button number 3, which is the ISO button. So that makes a lot of sense, right? So basically, I just have it where when you hit it the first time, it switches to the base ISO, which is the low light, or sorry, the 800, and then you click it again, it switches to the low light, which is the 12,800. So it kind of makes it easy. So like I don't ever accidentally do it. I do it on purpose. But there's one thing I did notice though is that if you look on the screen again, what they do it for you, which helps, is they give you a little indicator here, the H. So like when you switch into the high range, it says H, and then when you go down to the low, it goes L. So that is helpful, but you may not be paying that much attention and just be scrolling through, so you could still kind of mess up. So I just want to have that fine control over it.
I'm sure a lot of you guys want to set that to what he just said. I know I want to set my camera to that because it makes more sense. So can you walk us through it right quick?
Absolutely. All right, so you want to go down to the last menu, which is the yellow one here. And then you want to go down to your operations, your custom operations. And then you want to change not the camera, but the video. So once you go there, you want to go to the top of the camera, and there's all your buttons there. So we're going to go here, and so this button here is what we're going to change, which is the ISO button. Boom. And now we're going to look through. Let's go find our ISO. And right there, base ISO switch. Just select that guy, and that's what it is. So now, when you get in here, so let's go back to our quick menus. So right now we're in that base ISO of 800. So if we hit the ISO button, well, first of all, we have to put it in normal mode here. So now we're gonna put it in Cine EI. Cool. So now when we hit that ISO button, we can just jump between that. So there's no guesswork. You don't have to wonder. So even if you scroll, you'll never go past the actual base ISO without meaning to do it. So once you get to the end, which is 3200, and if you needed more, then you can switch it and keep going.
If you change your ISO on your screen, the image is not gonna look like what it looks like in your camera whenever you get it in post. So what I mean is, yes, you can change your ISO right here. So I'm changing it. It looks like I'm overexposed. The thing is that is not actually how your image is gonna look. So unless you're at 800 or you're at 12,800, those two specific numbers, you're never actually looking at where your image is gonna look once you get it in post, because the base ISO is always gonna be what it is. So something else that I really didn't like that he actually showed me earlier when we were at the coffee shop is the fact that you no longer can set your auto white balance. So if you're in one of the new special modes, which is Cine
EI, Cine EI Quick, or flexible shooting.
It just doesn't allow you to do that. So like if you go over here, you can see right now, it's grayed out. We can't do auto white balance.
I would agree that is a negative, and here's why. So it makes sense why they did it, but if you consider the fact that if you turn off these new shooting modes, you turn off flexible, you turn off Cine EI Quick, you go back to the old way of doing things. Well, when you go back to the old way of doing things, you have auto white balance. The problem is though, they actually took away some of your picture profiles. I think it's picture profile like 7 through 10 is like not there anymore. So to me, if they were gonna do that, then they should have left it exactly as is as far as the old way of shooting. So somebody like me who's not like as into the cinema cam, like I should not be missing picture profile 7 through, I think it's 7 through 9.
Yep.
So here's my biggest pet peeve about this new update. And the biggest pet peeve is the lack of communication with Sony and I guess the end users, right? Because we've all been under the expectation that the base ISO on this camera is 640. Like from day one.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, from day one it was 640. Now all of a sudden we get this new update and the base ISO is 800. And there was really no clear communication from Sony given a rationale. Why did they update the base ISO from 640 to 800? So, because I would like to know what's actually happening here, because the question that comes to my mind is, okay, let's say I disable this new options and I go back to off. I keep it off and shot the way I used to shoot. Now I'm confused. Should I be on 800 or should I be on 640? You feel me? So I feel like Sony needs to come out and tell us, hey, what's the actual base ISO? And if it is, maybe when we're shooting Cine EI, it is 800, but when we're shooting normal, it's 640. They need to let us know, or maybe now officially the real thing is always 800. We just need to know that.
Okay, and just to kind of demonstrate what he's talking about, they did update this Monitor Plus app since then, but basically if you're looking on here, right up here at the top, like if you know, before they came out with this new update, you would be able to click on here, and in here, it literally told you base ISO 640 and the other ISO 12,800, but now you can see that it's actually saying that the base ISO is 800, which is very, very confusing because to my understanding, the way that you make a camera, like you kind of build the sensor around a certain ISO that's the clearest. So how did it just like change because of software? It's kind of weird. I don't know. Anyways, if any of you guys know in the comment section like what specifically is going on with that, like we would love to know, and I'll pin that comment to the top. All right guys, so this was just a video, two guys talking about the new update. We're not perfect. We didn't make the cameras, we don't know everything, so if we got anything wrong...
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty perfect, so I just want to throw that out there.
Let us know in the comment section. Let us know what your favorite new features are in this camera. Let us know what your negatives are. Let us know if you agree, you disagree. So check him out on social again, right above his head. And if you guys are interested in getting this new update on your camera, then I recommend that you check out this playlist right over here.